Porsha, you filing for divorce and you barely been with that man for a year, Porsha. Who told you to get with that man, Porsha?
What is this? It is okay. You know what? Just light it. Then we're gonna test to see which one is best.
Right now, the story surrounding Porsha Williams feels less like gossip and more like a slow-motion collision between her past and the image she's been fighting to protect. In the last few weeks, what began as a conversation about self-discovery has turned into something far heavier. We've watched as blogger Tasha K, already known for her explosive insider claims, reopened a set of rumors many assumed had been buried. This time, she's accusing Porsha of living a hidden double life that runs counter to everything her public persona has stood for: relationships with women, alleged secrecy around health issues, and a pattern of deception that stretches back years. These aren't whispers from anonymous threads. They're claims echoing from names and timelines the public already knows, surfacing just as Porsha tries to reintroduce herself to Bravo viewers as a healed, redefined version of who she once was.
I also think, too, y'all don't give Porsha no grace, but when we met Porsha on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was young and she was married. It wasn't a good situation at all, but she was young and she was married. And since then, Porsha has been serious in monogamy with, like, it's not like we've seen Porsha out here just dating a bunch of random people. Every time we've seen her pop out with someone, it's been to the point where it's serious, right?
The timing could not be more charged. Only days before the allegations reignited, Porsha filed for divorce from Simon Guobadia in Atlanta, ending a 15-month marriage already under scrutiny for his unresolved citizenship troubles. Court filings confirmed the split in late February, less than a week after headlines resurfaced about Simon's alleged history of fraud and denied residency. Porsha's team insisted the separation was unrelated, but sources inside the entertainment industry suggest otherwise. They point out that her decision came just as she negotiated her high-profile return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta for season 16, a move that promises both renewed fame and renewed exposure. When public image and contractual money are on the line, silence becomes strategy, and so far that silence has been deafening. Meanwhile, the digital crowd has been dissecting every frame of Porsha's recent interviews.
With this challenge, because people were like, well, why do you want to challenge? Like, what would that do? Because the judge made it really clear. What they're hoping to do is get this in front of another judge. And if they get this in front of another judge, then they might have the chance where, like, he might not be responsible for all the things that we talked about.
She told audiences she was focusing on healing, on rediscovering herself after heartbreak, on sitting with loneliness until she became whole again. Clips of her crying mid-sentence went viral, framed as raw honesty. But as Tasha K's claims gained traction, that same footage began to look different. Insiders alleged that Porsha's emotional openness was less about vulnerability and more about controlling the narrative before others could. One production source set off record that the tone of her confession felt rehearsed, like an answer to a question no one had publicly asked yet. Those questions, as it turns out, go back years. Fans of the franchise remember when Porsha first rose to prominence in 2012, a preacher's granddaughter navigating divorce and public embarrassment. They also remember the old sermon clips circulating again this month, showing her once condemning the very identities she now claims to be exploring. That contrast has become central to the backlash. To supporters, it's proof of growth. To critics, it's evidence of reinvention built on denial. Either way, the timing makes it impossible to ignore. Because when a star facing renewed legal headlines suddenly shifts her story from romance to self-acceptance, people start to wonder what's really being healed. Simon Guobadia's own history only fuels the fire.
Because according to these court documents, Simon Guobadia applied for U.S. citizenship and was denied due to his criminal past.
Records from federal court in Atlanta show that a man with his full name faced multiple denials of citizenship due to past fraud convictions and unauthorized re-entries dating back to the 1980s. Media outlets from the Jasmine brand to People confirmed those filings throughout 2022 and 2023. When the latest denial was reaffirmed in January this year, Simon posted photos of himself smoking a cigar with the caption, "Ide Campe, no shaky," roughly meaning, "I'm doing well." It came across as defiance, not denial. Days later, Porsha was in headlines again, this time for filing to end the marriage entirely. Some insiders believe the divorce was pre-planned, an effort to distance her brand from legal scrutiny before cameras started rolling again. Others argue that the collapse was personal, triggered by new information that hasn't yet surfaced. Tasha K's reappearance in this timeline adds gasoline to both theories. Her claims aren't just about infidelity. She alleges that individuals close to Porsha expressed concern about private health matters years ago, concerns that were allegedly minimized to protect public image.
You older? I'm not saying you got ED or anything, but it's not working like it was working in his 20s. So it ain't like she got to hop on it every day. Maybe twice a month at that. This man just likes to work, travel, and have a companion. All Porsha was a companion to a scammer that had everything under control, if he was a scammer.
No documents have been presented, but the insinuation alone has forced the conversation into darker territory. According to one media analyst, that shift, from gossip to potential liability, is what makes this scandal uniquely volatile. If even fragments prove accurate, there could be legal implications beyond the usual reality TV spectacle. Behind the noise, there's another layer few are talking about: the money at stake. Porsha's new deal with NBC Universal isn't limited to unscripted television. It includes scripted projects across the company's platforms, a move that positions her as more than just a reality personality. That means every headline now carries corporate weight.
Who said that? Porsha Williams coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta? That's false. But Porsha Guobadia is in the building.
Networks have been known to cut ties when controversy reaches federal case territory, and Simon's alleged immigration violations involve exactly that. Yet, as of this week, neither Bravo nor NBC Universal has issued a statement beyond routine promotion for the upcoming season. That kind of restraint is telling. Executives usually distance themselves when scandal feels baseless. Silence suggests preparation. Meanwhile, fans have been replaying old moments from the Real Housewives of Atlanta with new eyes. Scenes once considered harmless flirtation are now being dissected for subtext. Party footage, group trips, late-night confessions, all revisited as potential clues. One insider claims that off-camera discussions about blurred boundaries between cast members were quietly edited out to protect reputations. Another alleges that multiple crew members were instructed not to comment publicly about what they'd witnessed. None of this has been confirmed, but the consistency of these accounts has given the story a sense of inevitability. Every rumor points to something bigger beneath the surface. The question isn't just whether Porsha lived a double life, but whether that secrecy extended to people who might have been at risk without knowing it. That's the claim driving online speculation now, a claim no one wants to touch directly because of what it implies. Legal experts familiar with entertainment contracts note that non-disclosure clauses could prevent both parties from speaking freely, especially if potential health concerns intersect with liability. Still, even without proof, the optics are devastating. When a public figure who once preached about morality faces allegations of concealed misconduct, silence starts to sound like admission.
I personally feel like even if Porsha didn't have the cameras, I think she gives me the type that, she's going to do all the things she wants to do in her life until she decides what she wants to do. Whether it is be with a woman for the rest of her life, a man for the rest of her life. She wants to try it all to figure it out.
Every day, new fragments appear. Screenshots without timestamps, anonymous DMs, old interview clips resurfacing under new captions. Most could mean nothing, but in the court of public perception, repetition equals credibility. And as this cycle repeats, the focus has shifted from curiosity to accountability. Who knew what and when? Did network executives ever receive warnings? Were storylines cut to preserve brand value? These are the questions now flooding social feeds and private chat rooms. As of tonight, there's still no official denial from Porsha or her representatives. No legal motion against Tasha K. No cease and desist letter circulated to outlets repeating the story.
Bared the brunt of all of the tough social media, bashing, all of that. And it's okay because I'm a grown woman, I make my choices.
Nothing but silence and a series of carefully curated social media posts showing travel, family moments, and spiritual quotes. For a woman who built her brand on transparency, that absence speaks volumes. And as the online tension grows, so does speculation that this isn't the peak of the story, but the calm before its real explosion. Because in the world of reality television, when narratives start collapsing, they rarely stop on their own. We've seen this pattern before. Image first, exposure second, fallout third, and each step leaves less room to hide. The industry is watching closely now. Insiders whisper about potential edits to the upcoming season, about executives weighing whether to delay episodes until the dust settles. Some say footage already exists that could contradict Porsha's recent statements. Others insist the network will protect its investment no matter what. Either way, the tension is palpable.
I have 5 kids. I obviously have been married, a few times. This is going to be my 4th marriage.
Because when financial interests, personal secrets, and unresolved legal questions collide in public view, someone eventually decides that silence is too expensive to maintain. And as this storm gathers, we can only wonder which version of Porsha Williams will appear next, the woman rebuilding her life, or the one fighting to keep it from unraveling. Behind the silence, there's an entire machine still moving. The reality television industry has always thrived on blurred lines. What's authentic? What's orchestrated? What's conveniently edited to make a personality appear redeemed just in time for a new contract? But with Porsha Williams, the timing is too precise to ignore. Her divorce filing drops days before her official return to Bravo is announced. And just as the conversation around her husband's immigration history hits national outlets.
You didn't do anything wrong. He just was the wrong damn one.
You're right.
The same week she's promising transparency to fans, the network issues a perfectly measured statement thanking her for her vulnerability. No mention of the legal headlines, no acknowledgement of the digital wildfire surrounding her name. We can't miss the pattern. When personal chaos meets corporate opportunity, the cameras never turn away. They simply reframe the chaos as content. Industry insiders have already begun whispering about how production meetings shifted after the divorce story broke. According to one former crew member, producers were instructed to lean into authenticity, but avoid anything that could jeopardize ongoing legal matters. It's a careful dance, the kind of language that means they'll film everything but decide later what viewers are allowed to see.
My relationship with Porsha started after my ex-wife and I announced that we were getting divorced.
The franchise built its empire on unfiltered conflict, yet here it stands, editing around federal filings, visa denials, and allegations of deceit. That's not reality. It's narrative engineering. We've seen it before when castmates implode mid-season, but this situation feels different. Too many moving parts, too many external players with lawyers instead of stylists. Bravo's silence has its own rhythm. Executives know controversy fuels ratings, but they also know federal investigations aren't the kind of story you can spin with clever editing. When Simon's alleged history of financial misconduct resurfaced, fraud charges from the late 80s, deportation orders, repeated citizenship denials, it shifted the tone from messy romance to potential liability. If he's proven to have entered the U.S. under false pretenses, any spousal benefits tied to that marriage could fall under review. That means Porsha's own name could end up in legal documents, even if only by association.
I continue to attract the wrong women. I try to rescue women. I pick the women who need me the most.
And that's where the corporate risk begins. A network can profit from scandal, but it can't afford subpoenas. Insiders point out that the network's legal division has already tightened non-disclosure clauses for cast members, reinforcing strict penalties for revealing production secrets. According to one former cast attorney, new contracts now include clauses about pending investigations and outside litigation. The timing is suspicious, lining up almost exactly with when Simon's immigration issues became public. Some speculate Bravo is protecting itself preemptively, ensuring that if anything breaks mid-season, the network can claim ignorance. But ignorance in this business rarely lasts long. Editors, stylists, assistants, they all talk and they all have phones. Financially, the stakes are even higher. Porsha's overall deal with NBC Universal reportedly includes scripted projects, brand endorsements, and cross-platform appearances, contracts that hinge on public image stability. One media consultant described it as a corporate investment, not a casting. And investments like that don't survive extended scandal. If Tasha K's allegations gain traction beyond social media, advertisers may quietly step back. That's the unspoken chain reaction everyone in entertainment fears, the shift from trending topic to corporate liability. Because once sponsors begin reconsidering their placements, networks follow suit. At the same time, Porsha's personal finances could be caught in the crossfire.
So Porsha, I told y'all Porsha couldn't afford that house. I told y'all Porsha's salary wasn't making it do what it do. I have friends that have ridden past that house on Paces Ferry and they say it is unkept, okay? And it's mighty funny after I got this report back, she puts out a video trying to make light of the situation that you demanded to keep a $12 million house that you could not afford that was on your husband's salary. However he got that salary.
Divorce filings often require full asset disclosures, and if Simon's alleged fraud extends to shared accounts or joint ventures, she could be forced to answer uncomfortable questions under oath. That's likely why, for now, every public comment from her camp reads like it's been filtered through multiple lawyers, carefully neutral, emotionally soft, legally airtight. Healing becomes the perfect word. It explains everything and nothing at the same time. But it's not just about lawyers and executives. Castmates are watching this unfold with quiet apprehension. Many of them have long histories with Porsha, and insiders claim more than one has already been approached for off-camera interviews. A few have hinted that the current drama could reshape the upcoming season. Translation: producers may turn Porsha's crisis into a storyline whether she cooperates or not. That's the price of reality fame. Control vanishes the moment the footage exists. Once it's in the editing bay, your truth becomes someone else's storyline. There's another layer to consider: the quiet coordination between PR firms and gossip outlets. Multiple entertainment reporters have noticed identical talking points appearing in seemingly unrelated blogs. Phrases like Porsha's journey and reclaiming her peace. That kind of linguistic repetition doesn't happen by accident. It suggests an orchestrated PR sweep designed to redirect attention from scandal to self-empowerment. The strategy works until a new allegation hits. And lately, they're hitting weekly. The moment one rumor fades, another surfaces, forcing her team to chase control in real time.
She thought that another married man was going to marry her. Said Porsha let her around here trying to clean, looking like she can't even clean her properly.
Even within Bravo's ranks, there's debate about how to handle it. Some insiders reportedly want to capitalize on the chaos, arguing that controversy drives viewership. Others warn that this story crosses into areas too sensitive for primetime entertainment. Federal cases, health-related whispers, alleged non-disclosures. Those aren't typical housewives drama. They carry real consequences. One former producer phrased it bluntly, "You can film heartbreak, not court filings." That's the dilemma facing the network now: how to keep ratings alive without becoming entangled in potential legal fallout. And then there's the question of who benefits most from the current silence. Some analysts believe the quiet isn't a lack of response, but a coordinated effort to stall until contracts are secure and footage is safely edited. In that sense, the silence serves everyone. For now, Porsha avoids incriminating herself, the network protects its asset, and gossip outlets continue profiting from speculation. But long term, silence has a price. Every unanswered question builds pressure. Every unaddressed claim grows teeth. And eventually, something gives, either a leak, a lawsuit, or a revelation that changes the conversation entirely.
It wasn't on your salary. You weren't even working, so they didn't even consider you. But he did put you on a deed just because you were the wife. And all you said was he could be scamming, And I'm like, well, why would you want to live in a scammer's house? Why would you want to live off of the scammer's money? When did they come and take the house back if he was quote unquote scamming? But it's hard to buy a $12 million house scamming. There's a lot of paperwork you got to go through to get this type of house.
What's most fascinating is that the same system that built Porsha's fame may now be the one cracking under its own weight. The formula of controlled chaos, reveal just enough to intrigue, hide just enough to protect, is faltering in an era where viewers no longer trust the edit. Audiences are archiving live streams, comparing sound bites, creating their own timelines. The illusion of control is evaporating, and networks are learning that managing scandal in real time is far harder than scripting it. The machinery that once fed on drama might finally be choking on it. So where does this go next? If Simon's legal situation escalates, if those alleged health concerns find traction, or if any new footage surfaces contradicting the official story, the entire narrative could implode. And if that happens while Bravo cameras are still rolling, it won't just be another reality scandal. It will be a crisis of credibility for an entire franchise built on blurred truth. Because when every player, from producers to talent, has something to hide, no one controls the ending. We're watching more than a celebrity unravel. We're watching the architecture of modern reality television struggle to contain the very chaos it monetized. The only question now is which side will move first. The lawyers who want this buried, the producers who want it televised, or the insiders who'd rather burn it all down for clicks. So what do we think? Will Porsha reclaim her narrative, or has the machine already decided her fate? Let us know what you believe, because this story is far from over. Until next time, stay curious, stay watching, and remember, every silence in Hollywood hides a sound waiting to be heard.